Alright. Hey, what's happening, all my Dragonlings? I am your Dragon God of Gaming, Damian Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of the gaming news, where I run down the list of all the gaming news, facts, rumors, trivias, and everything coming out of the gaming industry this week. Now, today we have something on Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. We have something on Netflix's gaming plans. The Elder Scrolls 6 confirms something that we all don't want to know. And Skyward Sword HD revolutionizing motion controls. Now, you guys know how we do this, so let's just get straight into the episode. I always have fun, so everything is always just hand in hand with me. Dude. Alright. So, first off, Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon is one of those little sections of the world where, you know, it's always happy. I always have fun with Nickelodeon. Don't know why, but I do like Nickelodeon. But Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is just one of those games where, you know, everyone has high hopes for them. And the game devs actually has this. This is coming from Kotaku.com, and this is written by, please tell me it says it, Ian Walker. His name is Ian Walker. And he writes, Nickelodeon fighting game devs have high hopes and competitive dreams. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is more than just Smash with Nicktoons, its developers say. Now, it writes, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is an upcoming Smash-like that, despite its licensed nature, already sounds like an absolutely legit fighting game. Not only do the lead developers have experience making their own popular platform fighter, damn it, but they're also looking into implementing rollback netcode for an optimal online experience. Kotaku had a chance to speak with folks at Ludosity, the studio behind All-Star Brawl, about their hopes for both its casual and competitive future. Ludosity may not be a household name, but it's found itself thrust into the spotlight thanks to the reveal of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl earlier this week. The studio, which is based in Sweden, was founded over 10 years ago and maintains a staff of less than a dozen people. Ludosity released several games in the decade, most notably 2018's Slap City, a platform fighter in the vein of Super Smash Bros. That's even been featured at a major Smash community tournaments. Shortly after the success of Slap City, we were approached by Nickelodeon Ludosity CEO Joel Nystrom told Kotaku via email. At first, I didn't think it was for real. You get a lot of weird emails and deals on weekly basis. So at first, I dismissed it as spam. The small studio eventually realized it wasn't being scammed and got in touch with Nickelodeon, which laid out its plans for a platform fighter. Ludosity developed a demo by early 2020. The devs were in production on Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl alongside co-developer Fairplay Labs out of Costa Rica and publisher Game Mill Entertainment. That last name may not have inspired confidence in those familiar with its previous middling work on licensed Nickelodeon games. But with the niche community of competitive fighting game players immediately realized the enormity of Ludosity's involvement, here was a group of people who had already shown intimate knowledge and familiarity with making a competent platform fighter. And they were being put in charge of making a game featuring characters from classic cartoons like SpongeBob SquarePants, Hey Arnold, and Rugrats. Please don't make me fight freaking babies. Come on now. It was too good to be. It was too good to be true. Folks descended on Ludosity's official Discord channel following the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl reveal to inundate the developers with questions about the upcoming game, and they're more happy to oblige, letting some little details about the project's gameplay mechanics and use of rollback netcode. I don't want to read the entire thing because I'm going to be here forever. I need to roll it back, but the skinny of it is the game looks absolutely fantastic. I have actually seen the gameplay the gameplay at least a little bit. And to be honest, it looks pretty dope. It looks really cool. It sounds very fun. And I think that everyone can get into it if you're giving it the chance. Even though you're going to be beating up on babies from time to time. Or beating up people from the Loud House. And you're going to be fighting people like Danny Phantom, who has legitimate superpowers. So that seems kind of a little bit off base for some things. But to be honest, certain shit needs to be presented for this game to actually work. And I hope that they implement these kind of game codes to make sure that everything works the way it needs to work. So personally, I have high hopes. At any rate, next up, we have Netflix. Netflix is a movie streaming platform. I'm pretty sure you guys know what Netflix is by now. If you guys don't, then you must be living under a rock and you guys need to get with the times. But personally, Netflix has a lot of big dreams. And dreams that probably need to come down back to earth. This is from BusinessInsider.com, and this is written by Ben Gilbert. We don't go into Business Insider all too often, but we've had it from time to time here. Which this is a very good source of things. And he writes, Netflix's big gaming plans aren't really about creating video games, according to Netflix job listing. And it goes thusly. With over 200 million paid subscribers worldwide, Netflix is an absolute behemoth. The streaming entertainment giant has successfully transitioned from a scrappy startup paying to license content to a major player in Hollywood and splashing out tens of millions of dollars on its own production. So what's next for Netflix? The answer to that question, at least in part, appears to be video games. The company just hired former EA executive Mike Verdu to lead its interactive department, and a new Bloomberg report says the plan is to add games directly onto the streaming service. Those games would show up in the same app that you're currently using to watch the new season of I Think You Should Leave, albeit as its own genre. I already have a bad feeling about this. Anyway, but don't expect to see the latest Super Mario or Call of Duty games on Netflix anytime soon. The goal with Netflix's gaming division is to create new types of stories and new product experiences. Our Netflix job listing says the games will be overseen by the new Netflix Interactive department. The game library is apparently intended as a marketing hook for the existing service rather than a reason unto itself to subscribe. The goal of games created by Netflix Interactive is to enhance and deepen member engagement. We've already got a plenty good idea of what those games will look like, as well as the job listing explicitly calls out a previous example of games that Netflix produced. Black Mirror Bandersnatch. That sounds awful, but I need to check it out. Viewers of the special Black Mirror episode can interact with the plot and elements using their remote control, effectively changing the direction of the story and its characters. Though it has game-like elements such as light interactivity and divergent storytelling, Bandersnatch is unlike most video games in every other way. They may not matter for upcoming Netflix interactive games, which are unlikely to compete directly with games on other platforms. The opportunity before us is to expand our slate of interactive innovations and capabilities, including but not limited to new types of features, game-like experiences, and different ways of interacting with stories, the job listing says. It's time to reimagine the future of entertainment yet again. Rather than creating traditional video games, it sounds from the listing like Netflix Interactive aims to do something interactive that leans more toward the film world than the video game world. Exactly what that looks like remains to be seen, but it could arrive as soon as next year on Netflix, according to the Bloomberg report. Netflix wants to have games on its platform within the year. I do think they will try and do think they will fail. Wedbush managing director Michael Pachter told Inside back in May regarding Netflix's gaming ambitions. It's hard to make games. Pachter's similarly critical of the possibility of Netflix making games so quickly. He said there's no chance that happens in a recent episode of Bloomberg Quick Take. They don't have a team. They're not capable of making games, and the idea that they think they're going to launch games next year is crazy. There's no chance they got anything made in the next year. I'm just trying to process this. They're trying to make their own games. Why? I can understand like more interactive, like the like games where you just move the plot forward with your own thing. But it's like, just to think about it, it's kind of ridiculous to think that Netflix is trying to come up with this idea. Stick to movies. I can understand, like, you know, some people wanting to branch out, and it sounds like a good idea on paper. But if you don't know really what you're doing, or you've never tried it before, and you don't have a team behind it that know kind of what, you know, what to implement there, you're kind of grasping at like stupid strawberries. Like, you're not gonna get the idea into your mind of what you want to do, and it's really stupid. It's really stupid. Because it's like, my thought process is this. If you make a game, and like, if you make an interactive experience and you don't know exactly what you're doing, then to be honest, you shouldn't be doing it. And that's my personal take. So do I think that, you know, Netflix is gonna fail in this venture? If they don't have people that know what they're doing, absolutely, because you're not gonna know what the hell you're gonna be getting into. So hopefully they will know what they're doing, and maybe it will work for them. But it's not gonna work like that. So hopefully things work out for the best. Anyway, back on this again. Yoink. Yoink. Elder Scrolls 6. I have never really played the Elder Scrolls video games. It's not my type of game, and I've played Elder Scrolls Online with a couple people that I played with, but it's just, it feels off to me. So this is coming from comicbookgaming.com, and this is written by Tyler Fleischer, and he writes, The Elder Scrolls 6 confirms disappointing news. And he writes thusly, Xbox has confirmed some news that will surely disappoint fans of the Elder Scrolls, looking forward to the Elder Scrolls 6 before Xbox acquired Bethesda. The latter announced the Elder Scrolls 6 back at E3 2018 alongside Starfield. The second of these two games is scheduled to release next year. Meanwhile, there's no word of when Elder Scrolls 6 will release. In fact, we don't even know if it's going to be on the Xbox Series X console exclusively. Which, that should tell you something. It doesn't look like it's going to come to PS5, but this hasn't been confirmed. And that sums up the Elder Scrolls 6. We know it exists. Well, obviously we know it exists. And that's about all we know. That said, there's a reason for this, and that reason is it's nowhere near release. When speaking about its new Fable game in development, and whether it will step on the toes of the Elder Scrolls 6, with both being fantasy RPGs, Xbox boss Phil Spencer noted that the latter is further out. What information can we pull from this? Well, not a ton, unless you take into consideration a recent report from a fairly reputable source that the new Fable game isn't releasing until 2023 at the earliest. If this is the case, then it's safe to assume the Elder Scrolls 6 won't be out until 2024 at the earliest, which makes sense if Starfield is releasing next year. In fact, even 2024 sounds too early. 2025 or 2026 sounds far more likely. For now, take all this with a grain of salt. The information here ranges from official to unofficial, and there's plenty of speculation sprinkled in as well. And that's about all we know at the moment. So ladies and gentlemen, if you guys were waiting for the new Elder Scrolls game, I apologize, but you're gonna have to be waiting for a pretty damn long time. Because it's just not going to happen for a good long while, and everyone should push the Elder Scrolls out their brain for the foreseeable future. Because I can guarantee you, again, as it shows, Fable will be coming out before the Elder Scrolls. So, sorry about that, friends. But you're gonna need to wait. I kind of feel bad because they should be focusing on Elder Scrolls first, because it seems like the more attractive game at the moment, and people are gonna really want that game first. But Fable has been out for a long time, and for a game that really needs to have itself presented again, Fable really is gonna be in need of that push. So I do think Fable should come first. But Starfield is its own big genre as well. So to be honest, the Elder Scrolls is actually gonna be like the third biggest one that they could put out at the moment. So, with all due respect to Elder Scrolls fans, I think this is the best move, because if you guys want a really good game to come out from the Elder Scrolls, and you guys want it to be like at its best peak performance, then what would be best at the moment is to give Elder Scrolls time to breathe and make sure that the game that they put on is just as good as anything else. So I feel like this is the best move that can be done at the moment for Elder Scrolls. So that's what I think, personally. Anyway, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of a long-standing franchise, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. And if you guys want to see some really cool stuff, I believe Chaos on the channel has just released the video. I want to make sure before I talk about it. I believe he has. Yes, he has. Yep, he has. Our buddy Chaos 6 is playing Skyward Sword. So yeah. Not Skyward Sword HD, I do not believe. No, it's not Skyward Sword HD, but it is Skyward Sword. So go watch some Chaos's Skyward Sword. He just released the first episode out the other day. So go check it out. It's a dope one. I can guarantee you, it's a dope one. So anyway, back to The Legend of Zelda. Skyward Sword HD is coming out, or has come out. I don't know. I don't really keep track of The Legend of Zelda things. But at any rate, Skyward Sword HD is one of those games that is going to be remastered in the Legend of Zelda franchise, which actually is pretty dope, because Skyward Sword is one of their big. The big few of the Legend of Zelda, which actually made people it revolutionized their series. So I think that this was actually a really cool thing for them to do. But Skyward Sword also now has motion controls, and this actually may put up something really good for us. This is coming from Kotaku.com. Again, Kotaku, and this is written by Ash Parrish. And she wrote, Skyward Sword HD might make you actually like motion controls. Nintendo fixed those pesky control problems, but not the way you might think. Anyway, And I quote, "There's a weird cognitive dissonance surrounding The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. In my casual discussions of Legend of Zelda games, Skyward Sword often seems lowly regarded. And yet, the Metacritic scores for the 2011 Wii game paint an entirely different picture, making it one of the highest scoring games for the console." Yeah, it's a Zelda game. That's why. That strange conflict between the game's negative perception versus its glowingly reviewed reality is mixed and remixed and reborn with Skyward Sword HD. This game frustrated and delighted me in equal measure. I enjoy playing, though the act of doing so at times exhausts me. I never hated 2011 Skyward Sword as much as others seem to. I prefer the sunny open freedom of that game to the claustrophobic gloominess of its cousin, Twilight Princess. Oh yeah. By the way, go check out my Twilight Princess sessions over on my channel. Go check it out. I love playing Twilight Princess. But I knew where the negativity feelings about the game came from. Grief over the finicky mandatory motion controls was the primary complaint. There were also the invasive tutorials, slow start, and a world that seemed emptier than those in other Zelda games. Ooh. For the HD remake, Nintendo introduced a wealth of quality of life changes designed to address the many pain points, which we all know where that is. Fee is much less intrusive with her tutorials, and you can skip her Yuri on ice like skating cutscenes with the press of a button. And while the expensive sky doesn't inspire much exploration, the complex depth of the surface world and its dungeons more than make up for it. But foremost among Nintendo's changes was the addition of a second control scheme, allowing players to use the Joy-Con control sticks to move Link's sword in addition to the traditional waggle of motion controls. Let's rip off the band-aid right now. The button controls aren't great. In a way that defies explanation, they are just as imprecise and fickle as the Wii's waggle was. Whenever I would try to swing my sword with a flick of the right thumbstick, horizontal became vertical, vertical became horizontal, and diagonal movement hardly registered at all. In fact, it felt like in order to swing the sword in a particular direction, I had to stop, return the thumbstick to a neutral position, then slowly move the stick in the way I needed it to go. This strategy worked for static obstacles like trees blocking a path, but it was no good for consistently moving, blocking, and striking enemies. By the time I got my sword to successfully swing horizontally, my bokoblin enemy had already moved to block. Zizzle bosses with their fast dodges were even harder to defeat. In Gyrahem encounters, forget about it. And they literally wrote, forget about it. I primarily play my Switch in handheld mode, necessitating the button control scheme. But after consistently getting my ass kicked during the first Graham fight, I switched to motion controls, and irony of ironies, performed so much better defeating him in the first time after the change. After this revelation, I decided to adapt my playstyle. I solved puzzles and fought basic enemies with the button controls, but anytime a big boss came up, I switched to motion. The two-pronged approach served me well. Its dungeons, the button control scheme, became a credit to the game rather than a burden. I loved cutting through obstacles that blocked my path. It was satisfying to swing my sword and see the silk of a spider web part in the same natural way it would if I took a knife to the cobwebs in my house. The same went for ropes and tree trunks, which actually is pretty cool. I love flicking the thumbstick to roll or toss bomb flowers in just the right way to reach concealed enemies and obstacles. Skyward Sword made good use of Link's arsenal of gadgets. My favorite was the drone beetle, which allowed me to scout out danger ahead and retrieve treasures from unreachable alcoves. Another bone of contention in 2011 Skyward Sword was the lack of a camera control. Skyward Sword HD thankfully added them, but with a slight catch. Instead of simply moving a stick to control the camera, the way the way it works is in literally every other game, you have to hold down a shoulder button in addition to moving the stick. In the button control scheme, the right stick controls Link's sword, but if you hold down the L button and sword controls, okay, I lost my place, sorry. But if you hold down the L button and sword control becomes camera control, and the two are mutually exclusive. You cannot move the camera and fight at the same time. This makes combat even slower and more dangerous. By the time you've moved the camera to a suitable position and set up your sword to swing the right way, oops, you've been knocked back, losing a heart of health, requiring you to start all over again. But surprise, surprise, in the motion control scheme, since your sword is controlled independently of your movements, you can use the stick to swing the camera around to your heart's content in the middle of a fight with no need to hold down an extra button. It blows my mind that Skyward Sword HD created a new problem out of the solution to an old one, which actually is pretty dope. For my control-based frustration, I still enjoy this game, particularly the story. For 25 years, the Zelda games focused on a boy named Link. Skyward Sword was the first game that lived up to its name and made the legend about Zelda, but even the princess's story paled in comparison to Groose, Link's rival turned BFF, who I'd argue is the emotional heart of the game. When you meet Groose, he's a bullying cesspot of toxic masculinity. He felt entitled to Zelda's affections because he's the biggest and strongest knight in training on Skyloft. He resented Link for his fated destiny to save Zelda, but after a brief moment of wallowing in self-pity, he simply decides to not give a shit about who's destined to do what and opts to help however he can. By the end of the game, he accepts Zelda's choice and bears Link no more ill will. Characters in Zelda games typically don't experience emotional growth unless it's on the far side of a beating by the Master Sword. Groose's growth was entirely self-motivated. He saw his lack and addressed it. It's a shame Zelda doesn't choose him instead of the silent and oft confusing looking Link. Dang, he's not that bad. He's not that bad, but hey, it is what it is. But I do want to say that that actually is pretty cool. That the motion controls is a lot more better than the regular controls. But hey, it is what it is. I kind of feel a little bit better that the motion control was absolutely 100% fixed and needed all that. But depending on how you see it, if I play Skyward Sword HD, I'll probably be playing on my channel at some point in the future. But what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna use the motion controls, because I've never played an actual motion control game on my channel, which is actually pretty weird. But the game sounds actually inviting. I do want to play Skyward Sword, and I will be waiting until the new until I get my hands on the newest game, because why the hell not? Because it's always a good thing. Anyway, that's it for our normal latency things here. But before I go, I do want to read off some of the other things that were brought to my attention when I was looking for the news for today. I just thought of the biggest ones. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is reportedly getting remastered, which is pretty cool. No cults, no politics, no ghouls, how China censors the video game world. And The Last of Us TV show casts Tommy's actor as not Tommy, which doesn't feel too good to me. But personally, I had a lot of fun today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hope everyone enjoyed. The gaming world as it is now, I've always had a lot of fun. And with something like The Legend of Zelda coming out with something new like that, and Breath of the Wild 2 is just vaguely on the horizon, I think I do want to throw my hat into the ring of Skyward Sword. Eventually. As I said earlier, I did play Twilight Princess on my channel, which actually was extremely fun. I had a lot of fun playing Twilight Princess, and if you guys take the time, you guys should go check it out. I don't normally leave end screens for this channel, but I will leave an end screen with my version of the game, which you guys can go check out at the last 20 seconds. So go check that out. At any rate, before I go, hope everyone has a lovely week. Thank you guys so much And as you guys seen, that I'm going to be playing Resident Evil Village. I'm only playing it every Wednesday now. I'm playing Wednesdays now, so if you guys can go check me out every Wednesday. And every Sunday, I'm here making sure that you guys are up to date with your gaming news. So, it's your boy. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, I hope everyone has a lovely day. Down in the description down below is all of our lovely and beautiful creators. Go check them out. They are a lovely bunch of coconuts, so go check them out and have a lot of fun. Also down there will be my channel as well, where I'm playing a retro month on my channel, where I'm playing Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. I'm playing the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, so go check that out as well. Every Wednesday, I am playing Pokemon X. On Fridays, I am playing Animal Crossing New Leaf. On Sundays, I'm playing Subnautica. And actually, today, later on today, I am playing the new game of Yoshi's Story. So if you guys like the Mario Kingdom, if you guys like the Mass Effect series, if you guys enjoy Pokemon, you guys enjoy the underwater world of Subnautica, and if you enjoy Animal Crossing, Scooby-Doo, and all of the above, come to my channel and see what you got. And also while you're over there, hit the subscribe button, please. I'm at 513 subscribers. I want to get to 600. So come in and join in on the fun. The fun never needs to end. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoyed. But it's time for us to end off. Good gaming, happy hunting, and I'll see all you Dragonlings back inside the world of the gaming news. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Some more Damian Dragon action. Peace.